stunt it. This is basically the story of how I went and got a skydiving license when I am completely scared of heights. Let me set the scene. At the start of 2019, I came up with a series of things that I wanted to do and goals that I wanted to do. Kind of like a bucket list, although I don't plan on dying anytime soon. But I came up with this list. I came up with a list of 2019 goals. One of the things I wanted to do was get a skydiving license. Late one night, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go and book my skydiving license. So I phoned my friend Brandon and I said, bro, I've booked skydiving for next month. Do you wanna come? And he was like, yeah.
Got your boarding pass, please, mate.
Did you get the address, dude? Yeah, left, dude. No, straight up there.
Oh, straight up?
Yeah, that's why I said left. Yeah, sorry, dude. Reverse.
What the hell are we like, mate? Why are we going skydiving together?
Why are we doing this, man?
Which way am I going?
Left. No, like I'm definitely nervous. Like I've always envisioned myself jumping out of a plane, but the fact that we're literally driving there and we're 10 minutes away right now shits me up. Like I could not believe this is happening. And what if we don't like it and we have to do it for 10 days?
We went skydiving in Portugal on an absolute whim. There's a few things you want to consider when selecting a location. The weather, that is the most important thing, and how fun the place is. Basically, I considered all of those things and I decided to go to Skydive Algarve in Algarve, who'd have guessed, in Portugal.
Like 200 BPM.
Okay, so what we have to do right now is sign these papers. Brittany's actually getting me some, dude. Honestly, when this is signed for, we're like fucked. We're fucked.
Trust Brandon to ask at the front how many accidents occur. So we arrived, signed loads of paperwork, basically signed our souls away saying that if we go splat on the ground, our family can't sue the skydiving people. At the entrance, she was like, oh yeah, so have you done a tandem skydive before? And we both looked at each other and were like, no, we've never been skydiving in our entire life. And she was like, oh well, that's gonna be interesting then. Getting a skydiving license, the way it works is you basically have to do a series of levels. When we're arriving, when we're coming up to place, I was like, how hard can it be? Like you just jump out of a plane and pull a parachute, like how much to it is there gonna be? It sounds retarded reciting it. On the first day, what you do is you go through some theory work, you sit down, you learn about body position, you learn about free falling, you learn about the arch, the position that you have to be in when you fall, because you can't just pull a parachute and jump out of a plane. If you're not stable when you pull the parachute can open wrong. If you're upside down when you pull the parachute can wrap around you, can die. Falling out of a plane isn't an easy thing to do. Like you'd think you just jump and you'd magically have this like incredible body position where you fall. No. You have to know how to do the body position. It is incredibly difficult to get right and be able to do it well.
Like I said, this is all about muscle memory. Okay? This is our AAD. What does this do? If you're traveling too low, too fast, this AAD will see that you are in free fall speed, you are not with the parachute speed descending. So this will activate and deploys your reserve. This is in case of if you fall asleep during the free fall. If you have a malfunction with your main parachute, deploy your reserve in your left handle. First you will cut away, release your main canopy, and then you will deploy your reserve. Okay?
So they go through all these things with you, start the day learning about all the things that can kill you, all the things that you should do, and you learn about the canopy, about steering the canopy, about landing the canopy, do turns, how to flare, how to brake. You learn about jumping out of the plane, how to right yourself if you become upside down, fall correctly, how to turn. First day arrived there, we did the ground school, we learned about the theory of skydiving and how to do stuff properly and all the basics and all the knowledge and information and actual theory of it. And then we went for a tandem jump. So a tandem jump is basically where you're strapped to someone else and you jump out of a plane. And yeah, I wasn't really nervous. Like I'm good at justifying my own mortality. Like I do a lot of stupid stuff. I've scuba dived for years. I ride a motorbike like an absolute mad cunt. And I don't live in denial, you know. I know that it's very likely that any of these things could kill me at any second, but I accept the risk, I acknowledge it, because for me, like living life is doing all this crazy shit that makes you feel alive. These peak experiences that like make you really present and live in the moment. Like that dangerous dumb shit is what I live for. Put on our kit. We got explained in the briefing that what we're doing in the tandem, what we had to do. I just thought we'd be strapped to someone. It turned out that we actually had to pull the parachute. I wasn't really listening, so I only realized this once we were going up the plane. He was like, oh yeah, you know when to pull the parachute, yeah? And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, you know when to pull the parachute. And then that kind of put a seed of doubt in my head.
If you don't make a mistake.
It's about 5 o'clock now. I want to go home. It's been boiling hot. I'm not used to this warm country. We're going up in the plane. Brandon is absolutely shitting himself. Like, Brandon is petrified, you can tell. I'm kind of there laughing away. Like, I'm fine. Like, I've accepted it. I'm having these really deep thoughts about my mortality and my life. And yeah, we're going up, looking out the window. It's like a commercial flight. I'm still fine, don't really have any nerves. A few people in front of me jump out. The whole plane moves, got it so light. I'm like, oh, I didn't really like that. And then it's our turn. We get to the door. I'm strapped into my instruction. He's like, are you ready, Mo? Are you ready? I'm like, fuck it, you know, we just got to go, like really psyching myself up. I'm still not very scared yet. I'm not looking down, As soon as my feet get to the aircraft door and I have a glimpse of the ground below, I'm suddenly like, oh my fucking God. I remember now, I'm absolutely petrified of heights. Put my legs out, felt the wind like ripping past me, and it's easy to watch on a YouTube screen. You're like, oh, that looks wild fun. I'll be able to do that, no problems. But as soon as you're actually fucking there, it is a different ball game, mate. Put my legs out, and then he's like, 3, 2, 1, go. Lean forwards, go. And you just have this feeling of complete and utter weightlessness. And people say it's like the most euphoric feeling in the world in your first skydive. And once you go, like, all bad thoughts leave from your head and you're just there, like, flying. And you, no, that is fucking bullshit, mate. It was one of the worst things I've ever done in my entire life. No matter how logically I justified it, every single cell in my body was like, you are going to die, Mo. This is the end of your life. And this like primal instinct kicked in of just like sheer, utter panic and despair. Like, it's a horrible feeling, mate. After about 10 seconds of free fall, I found myself going, as I forgot to breathe, like breathing in, I felt physically sick. And then he pulled the parachute and I was still there, like I felt like I'd just come out of a fucking panic attack. And then he started to pull these really heavy turns under the canopy. I honestly felt like I was going to pass out. Like, I felt like I was going to lose consciousness. Got to the ground, landed. I expected some like euphoric feeling of how grateful I was to be on the ground, but no. Like, I just felt like I was going to pass out. I felt like utter shit.
Oh man.
Started doing these 360s, and I started to feel sick and feel like I was going to black out, and I was like, I'm meant to be doing this tomorrow on my own, and I feel like I'm going to pass out.
That's the part that fucks me, because like, we had
And Brandon looked like came down looking like he's about to freaking cry. So
we had very different experiences. I fucking like when I was in the plane, I started to feel myself slowly start to get a bit dizzy.
Dude, if you don't want to do it tomorrow, I won't hold it against you.
So we got home that night and Brandon was like, I'm not gonna do it. That was the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I agreed with him. But like, I knew that I had to do it as well. Like, the thing is with me is that if something scares me, I have to do it. The things that I've been the most scared about, the things that I've wanted to do the least, have been the most rewarding things. And I knew that if I didn't die, this was gonna be one of those things. The next day, I went back and I was absolutely crapping myself, because the next day is when you do your first level of the AFF course. AFF stands for Accelerated Freefall, and what I remember is there are 7 levels to the AFF. Basically, you have to pass all these levels. Every single one of these levels is a jump, and you do different things throughout the jump. Level 1 was today, and after yesterday's skydiving experience of feeling like I was gonna black out and throw up, safe to say, I wasn't very keen, because if I black out, I'm probably gonna die.
Right, today, we didn't jump yesterday because of the wind. Today is going to be our first jump on our own, isn't it, Joe?
First jump on
How you feeling, mate?
Fucking nervous.
I know, like, it's alright and I can justify it until the moment you get to, like, the door and look down.
Got up in the plane, safe to say I was absolutely shitting myself this time. It was horrible. This one was disgustingly scary, but it wasn't as bad as last time. I landed the parachute safely and I passed the level. I'm not going to explain to you every single level of the AFF. I'll put it on the screen here. This is what you basically have to do. As soon as you get comfortable, something in the level changes and it makes you uncomfortable again. So what I'm trying to get at is the first few ones were fucking horrible. It was the worst thing I've ever done. But then the more I did it, the less scary it got and the more you enjoy it. Like, I went from not being able to breathe, feeling like I was going to pass out and throw up, to like actually looking forward and wanting to jump.
Baby, get lost in this moment, burning bright in the night skies. said we could get lost in the moment, coming alive in the nighttime. And oh, close your eyes, let it all go, body and mind, burning bright in a dark sky. And oh, close your eyes, let it all go, body and mind, you're coming alive in the nighttime. Baby, get lost in this moment. We get lost in this moment. We get lost. And oh, close your eyes, let it all go, body and mind, burning bright in a dark sky.
That was fucking insane.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah,
Like,
as soon as you open the chute, mate, a whole relaxation comes through and you're just like, fuck.
did your chute open okay?
Yeah, it felt so long before it caught me. Fuck.
I had line twists.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm quite glad I did though, because it was like,
Easy.
I wasn't like panicked at all when it happened.
Yeah.
Because we'd gone through it and the other guy had them. It's literally just because we've been drilled into it, we just sorted it straight away.
Was it easy?
So easy, mate.
Right, so that was jump AFF level 4 we just passed. What we did was, got released, only one instructor now. 360 one way, 360 the other way, and then we tried to do a third 360 as well. Did we get a third 360? I think we got a third 360. By level 7, I was absolutely loving it. Like, I had such a good time, I was really enjoying my free fall, and when I started doing tracking, which is where you put your head up, your arms by your sides and straighten your legs, like of GTA, like that actually feels like you're flying. It's crazy, like there's no feeling like it. You feel yourself physically accelerate, like you feel the wind speed increase and you feel like you're moving forwards rather than just falling down. I did my levels AFF 1 to 7. I was still really scared about jumping, but like I got used to it more, and by this point I was loving it. There's nothing more built into your biology and built into you than not dying and not falling to death. Like there's nothing closer to dying than falling to your death like that. The thing is as well, that it is safe, and the more you learn about it, like you're scared of the unknown and you've never done this before, it's something completely new. The more you do it, the more confidence you get in it, the more confidence you get in yourself, the more confidence you get in the equipment, and the more you do it, the more you enjoy it, and the better it gets, and the better it gets, and the better it gets. And that's not to say that every time I was jumping, I wasn't shitting myself. And there was like a large part of me that was like, why the fuck are you doing this, Mo? Just stay in the plane. Why are you leaving a perfectly good aircraft? But it's risk versus reward, you know, and the reward is so good. The reward is so fucking good.
Yes, lads. We have freaking done it, boys and girls. Levels 1 to 7, completed it, mate. Completed it, right? The last one was sick. I cannot wait to do more jumps. Buy my own parachute, buy my own stuff. And now I can go out and do it by myself, with my mates, on my own, anywhere in the world. And yeah, it was fucking sick.
Big shout out to the guys at Skydive Algarve. Like, I highly recommend doing it there. I'm not getting paid to say this. All the instructors are fucking lovely. I've been to other jump sites where they're not so lovely since making this video. Okay, let's say the course costs about £1,700. This phone cost about 1,200 quid, the new iPhone. I was reading a book recently called 59 Seconds, and it goes over loads of psychological studies and things to do with how humans work and people thinking, and there's a section on it on materialism. And materialism, buying materialistic items, I'm a sucker for it as well, comes from a place of childhood insecurity and feelings of inadequacy. So people buy all these like expensive brands and things that they don't need, that they don't actually get experience from or don't actually directly benefit from, in order to appear better to other people because they feel inadequate in themselves, or they had some issues down the line, or they feel insecure. Experiences are the opposite. Experiences actually make you grow as a person. Spending money on things that result in experiences like holidays and things like this results in longer term happiness. In the book, it goes over several studies that were done that show that people have longer term happiness on spending money on experiences like holidays, etc., like doing things like this, even if it costs significantly more than they do buying materialistic items for themselves. Like, what I'm basically trying to say is that I'm so fucking glad that I didn't buy a car and actually invested the money in doing the skydiving course instead. Like, I highly recommend going. I think it's one of those things that everyone should experience once. And that was my skydiving experience. I hated it at first, it was horrible, but now I absolutely love it. I'm scared of heights, but the more you do something, whatever it is that scares you, whether it's like, I get a lot of questions on confidence and speaking to people, like this translates to it so well. The more you do it, the more you'll get used to it and the more you'll love it. Do the things that scare you because they're gonna be the most rewarding, and things don't grow within your comfort zone. That was my skydiving experience. I honestly think it's one of those things that everyone should experience at least once. And if you're able to get the money, I highly recommend doing it. Because once you got the license, jumps are cheap and you won't regret it. And if you die, you won't regret it either because you'll be dead.